She tells me, as I open my eyes, pupils tiny and my mouth falls wide, how beautiful, she'll always care. I'm captivated by her loving stare. The beginning is now. The sculpture's hands start to mould like a piece of blue tack rolled in her palms during math class when she didn't used to understand. Her best efforts will go into paving my time in this land. And she tells me while for the first time my feet walk on their own, that she'll always assist me from this point on, show me the ways of the world and the road I've to choose, and share the secrets to allow me to follow in her shoes. And when old enough, she'll teach me to tie mine in a bow, so when I leave school on the first day I'll have a big badge that says I can tie my shoes on show. And she tells me every morning to get up, eat breakfast, shower and put on my clothes in order to be in class by 9. She'll walk me there day in and day out to make sure I arrive on time. Even though at the age of 6 I would protest and say I was going there alone, she would still be at the gates to collect me, take me by the hand and walk me all the way home. And she tells me to choose the friends I spend time with, even though she'll love them all just the same, welcoming each and every one of them into her home and addressing them by their name. She will feed them and clothe them, acting like they're all her own creation, leaving the doors to her world wide with an open invitation. And she tells me no matter what I do or say, she'll wear my team colours and support my team while I play, standing on the sidelines for every exam or mountain I scale, cheering my name and reminding me never to give up, even when I fail. And she tells me, but this time I tell her back, I have no time for her wisdom, her ideas, her help, her support. I'm choosing my own track. I don't want educated and I have no time to hear. I've now been on this earth for at least 15 years and I'm old enough now to decide for myself. So she can put her absurd ideas and her logics back on the shelf. And she tells me, but this time I don't tell her back, I just don't listen at all. I'm willing to pick myself back up when I'm down or I fall, and I don't need her advice, or anyone's at that. Instead of embracing the knowledge, it's easier to just turn my back, so I walk away now, disregarding the situation I've left behind, in search of my happiness, which I'm sure I will find. And she tells me again and again and again and again and once more. But I've blocked it out now and I've closed off that door and I'm carving the path, the one which I feel is right, and slowly all I have learnt is fading out of sight. The road I have taken contains very little from start to end, except no learning, no work, and very little friends. But she tells me, and she tells me, and she tells me, and she tells me, and she tells me, day after day, month after month, and year after year. Whether it's through boredom or guilt or just to shut off her voice, I eventually start to hear. My head slowly starts to lift and the road starts to widen, and the dark clouds start to vanish and I'm heading towards the horizon. And she tells me and I listen. I remember that's what I always had done, until something took over and blocked out the sun, but now my ears are wide open and my thoughts running clear, and the vehicle of life is beginning to steer itself in the right direction towards the right destination, eventually ending up in my chosen location. And she told me, she told me, and I can't thank her enough. She knew from day one always to encourage and love, and even when falling on empty ears, she would still stand up and tell me loud and clear. I've made many mistakes, and I'll make many others, but not without the help of she. Not without the help of she. She being my mother.